Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy on the South Korean ladder as I found yet another interesting game in between the two pros. We have an international gameplay here in between Russia and South Korea. We do have spawning here in the low left. In the white it is DEWALT with his AK, his barcode AK, and his opponent here from the NZU clan. It is ALEN from South Korea with a very low APM here, interesting enough for him. So it's a 3 spawning location map. As you can see from the timer, a very long replay we have here. So almost a 45-minute mark here as DEWALT is opening up here with his pylon outside of his entrance from the expansion. And yeah, like I told you, very long replay. I didn't watch it all. Should of course be a very interesting. It has been played in September 2025. I believe it was the 17th September 2025. So yeah, Zerg versus Protoss it is. We do have a spawning pool actually here for the Zerg. So no intentions for him to go for a fast expansion, and actually even adding a fast gas for him. So this could be Zerglings with speed early on here for ALEN. Let's see how this is going to work out, as we do have a forge here for DEWALT and double sending out probes. So it looks like he's going to try a cannon rush versus the opponent, just like he did versus Jaedong. Looks like this is his strategy versus the Zerg. Let's just see if this is going to work out, as very soon the probes will reach, of course, the expansion point. Interesting enough, however, here for the Zerg, he did not went for a fast expansion, so I believe with that the cannon rush is going to be easily fended off, as the first Zerglings will already hatch here. So DEWALT is checking the expansion point, doesn't find hatchery there, and he's going to have quite a surprise now seeing the spawning pool already finished. So with that, he's just going to hang around here a little bit. Even speed is being done here by ALEN, so great move. However, we do see now ALEN almost losing here a probe and now taking out the probe actually. So the drone almost getting killed here, but with a good surround here by ALEN, he is able to fend this off. So the two cannons will be forced now here into the main expansion point for DEWALT, as the first Zerglings are now moving out onto the map. So yeah, speed is about to get finished. I believe if the Zerg will wait here, he could run by those cannons and then easily move towards the main entrance here from DEWALT, but it looks like he's just moving now forward, sees the two cannons, decides to pull back. More Zerglings are getting produced, but I believe the Zerg is very likely going to try to play it safe and go for an expansion here, as speed is about to get finished here for the Zerglings. So yeah, of course, DEWALT wants to know the timing here from the tier 2, or if it is going to be a tier 2 upgrade here for ALEN, as a good surround once again happening here for ALEN versus the probe. So yeah, we do have lots of Zerglings onto the map. Is he going to try to run by? Perhaps he's going to wait for the reinforcements. And the DEWALT actually needs to hurry up to close the gap here. There's a gateway, and also now adding some probes here. So with that, he looks pretty good, pretty decent into defending, even taking his gas. Cybernetics core should follow very soon, so the door is pretty much shut. Two more Zerglings are falling. With that, DEWALT should of course be able to hold the harassment here, but sadly here for him, he did pull one probe back, and this is exactly what's happening. The Zerglings are now moving forward. I believe 6 of them are still left alive. However, there is even a cannon here into the main, so good anticipation here by DEWALT. The Zerglings will of course be a little bit annoying, but then again they can't really deal any damage, as there's so many cannons by DEWALT online, and perhaps they will be able to snipe the gas. Lots of them are hurt, so DEWALT with a good defense, and I believe this should be his cybernetics core. DEWALT even trying to pull those Zerglings back towards the range from the cannon. So smart gameplay here by the Russian player, but this gas is actually falling more and more down. So yeah, the Zerg in the end, being annoying, is able to take out the assimilator. Good stuff early on. At the same time, he's also taking another expansion here into this location. So yeah, nicely done here by the Zerg, by ALEN, as the assimilator has to be rebuilt, and one Zealot will of course be able to take care of those Zerglings. However, they will try of course to snipe perhaps, or deal damage towards other units. Always bad to deal with this Zergling harassment. And now even the expansion point is being attacked. The probes have to fight for their life. Finally the zealots come in, and with that the harassment is finally over here. However, very good harassment here by the Zerg. He did snipe 3 probes, I believe even 4, and he also took down the gas for DEWALT. That is now being rebuilt, and yeah, there's the starport for the Corsairs early on, as we did indeed pass the 5-minute mark. So yeah, still anyone's game, of course. Quite interesting and good harassment here by the Zerg. Not going for tier 2, he's going straight towards the Hydra stand here, so it could be a timing push at around the 10-minute mark. More Zerglings are getting produced. They might get a good surround here versus all of those zealots. So just some engagement here. Interesting enough, the Zerg is still going for some Zerglings, so let's see what exactly are his plans. Perhaps it's going to be a mix of Zerglings with the Hydralisk very soon into attacking the main entrance. He's also spreading those Zerglings nicely onto the map, gaining more and more of a vision, so just in case there's going to be a shuttle gameplay here by DEWALT, but he's going pretty standardly into his Citadel of Adun. Of course, the High Templars are going to be added for him to deal a splash damage towards the units here from the Zerg. So yeah, still no tier 2 actually here for the Zerg, as we have passed the 6-minute mark. So what exactly are his plans? It looks like indeed a timing push. There we have one. There we actually have the increased range attack for the Hydralisk. I believe DEWALT is of course sensing something that is coming towards his way, so let's have a look. Where exactly is that Corsair? There it is. So he's going to very soon see that it's not a tier 2 upgrade here for the Zerg, so that can only mean one thing, that of course we do have a timing push by the Zerg. There it is. He's scouting the main, and now he finally knows that indeed massive amounts of Hydralisk are onto his way towards the main. And yeah, I believe the immediate reaction here, of course, mass cannons, even a Dragoon is getting added, as the range will finish very soon here for the Hydralisk. So yeah, very good gameplay here by the Zerg, very aggressive gameplay here by him, showing his presence. He is very likely going to snap this gateway right here. Nicely done by him. He might even be lucky to snipe the upgrade here, but there's so many cannons in the back, and I believe the range from the cannons will be there to attack the Hydralisk. Still no tier 2 upgrade here, still no reaction. Another hatchery has been added here for him, as more and more units are getting gathered. Perhaps he's going to try to snap this pylon right here, but then again there's a pylon here as well, so DEWALT with some good placement here of his buildings. And yeah, we do have a small stalemate here, and perhaps ALEN is going to be smart to upgrade his overlords. He might just bypass all of those cannons and go straight towards the main here from DEWALT. It could be a possibility here, of course, for him, as another Zergling is getting sacrificed. The Corsair tries, of course, his best to snipe as many overlords as he can. And yeah, still checks out the fact that there is no tier 2 upgrade here for ALEN happening, so more and more units are getting here further towards the expansion point from DEWALT. There is the High Templar, yet another High Templar. With those 2 High Templars, I believe DEWALT should be fine here, should be able to hold the attack that is very likely going to commence very soon. Either that, or like I told you, it's going to be a drop attempt here by ALEN into the main here from DEWALT, who's actually going very heavily towards mass gateway units for him. Let's see how that is going to work out, as finally we do have a tier 2 upgrade happening here at the expansion point from ALEN. The Corsair is very soon going to be scouting this out. There's one High Templar just chasing those Hydralisk away. Just needs to be careful not to lose any units here, as more High Templars are being added here by DEWALT. So yeah, let's just see how this game is going to continue. What exactly are going to be the late game units? Perhaps you're going to be seeing some Ultralisk. Currently the High Templars just having fun here, sniping 3 Hydralisk with Storm. The Zerg still holds his position. Perhaps his plan is very simple, not to allow DEWALT to move out and take another expansion. It's a very smart gameplay here by him, and at the same time he is very likely going to try to take another expansion. So very soon it's going to be a 4-base Zerg versus a 2-base Protoss. DEWALT also investing quite heavily into those cannons at home. He had to invest now. Finally he has to clear the path towards his units. Having 4 High Templars looking very good for him, as the Corsair is still scouting the map. Speed has been done for the Zealots. Good upgrades here, 1 weapons upgrades, no upgrades besides range here for ALEN as the game continues. So yeah, some Dragoons are out. There is a pretty much failed High Templar Storm here now, as ALEN nicely snapping the important units here from DEWALT. So 2 High Templars have been snapped. Of course, he took some damage, some Hydras have been snapped as well. 1 Overlord might get killed very soon, as DEWALT is now bringing his Zealots forward. Backed up by the Dragoons, the Overlord finally is getting taken out. And yeah, we do finally see DEWALT having to move out. He needs another expansion urgently, as the Zerg is adding more and more of his units here. And still no speed upgrade here for the Zerg. That's also interesting. Worker wise, we do have pretty much the same worker amount, so that's very good for the Zerg. Spire has also been done here for him, just in case some Mutalisk could be added to snipe the important units here from the Protoss, to snipe those High Templars from him, as 3 hatcheries into this location. So massive amounts of units for the Zerg are being added, and they do have the high ground, so with that they look very, very good versus the attack here by DEWALT. Good energy into those High Templars. Will they be able to snipe all of those Hydralisk? Lurkers could also be a possibility here for the Zerg, as a good run by here by DEWALT should be able to take out 1 Hydralisk or 2. And now we do even see some Mutalisk hatching here for the Zerg. The Corsair gives good vision, however now it's pretty much being taken care of. Good High Templar Storm by DEWALT. The Mutalisk are a little bit too far out, if you ask me. The Corsair somehow is still being left alive here. Zealots also here in the front, quite exposed, as the attack is continuing here for DEWALT. But so many Mutalisk have been added. Of course they will be used to snipe the High Templars, however not that many High Templars are being left alive here, so with that they will be used just defensively versus those Dragoons onto the ground. And yeah, Dragoons are actually very good versus those Mutalisk in the air. And actually all of a sudden we do have the Zerg going for mass Mutalisk, so interesting transition here by him. Usually Zergs like to go into Lurkers, but it's actually mass Mutalisk for him. Perhaps he's going to just pretty much fly over his main and snipe the economy here from DEWALT. It could be a possibility for him, as the Dragoons are fighting nicely here versus the Mutalisk in the air. Lots and lots of damage, but like I told you, the main from DEWALT is not really that well defended. I believe I saw only 1 cannon. And there it is, so the Zerg could easily fly here over and deal massive amounts of damage with all of his Hydralisk. So DEWALT, with a mistake here, he has to react with some Corsairs with more cannons. As interesting enough, the Zerg not going towards the main, he's actually going straight towards the expansion point, so he really wants to snipe the economy from the opponent, but there's already cannons, so his chance could be of course to go towards the main. It's not that well defended. High Templar pretty much getting sacrificed here by DEWALT. The Mutalisk is also very, very far out. The Zerg needs to be careful. And yeah, like I told you, interesting enough, he's not deciding to attack the main from DEWALT, which is not that well defended. Only 1 cannon and 1 Corsair here. So it could have been a better idea for the Zerg to go towards that place with 7 Mutalisk. Perhaps more Mutalisk could have been added, but it looks like now finally he's going for mass Hydralisk. And even some Lurkers could be a possibility here for him. So let's just see how the game is going to continue. We do have the probes getting transferred into the newly established base for DEWALT. As Hydra is also out here for the Zerg. Perhaps a bad rally point here for him, as he did lose some units there. There we have another expansion for the Zerg, and more will be very likely added into the upper right part for him. So yeah, with that, finally now the Zerg attacking the expansion point. And there's so many Mutalisk being left alive, but they're quite hurt, so some Dragoons will be brought here back to defend. Even some Corsairs have to be now produced by DEWALT to keep those Mutalisk back. And yeah, we will very soon pass the 50-minute mark, so quite a good game here by both players. Nice harassment by both of them. Good hold here by DEWALT, and also a good hold here by the Zerg. finally now the speed is getting done for those overlords, and like I told you, he could easily pick up all of those units and just drop them into the main, killing the production buildings from the opponent. Could be a very good idea here for the Zerg as the game continues backed up. Perhaps just move those Mutalisks towards the expansion point, fooling the vault, and then just dropping those Hydralisks here. As we see a forge and a cannon getting built here, of course. In comes the Mutalisk once again, just checking out what exactly is into the main. Great storm, however, now getting casted, so Mutalisk taking really lots and lots of damage. So given the fact that the Zerg is just checking out what exactly is located here, of course the vault might suspect the fact that it is indeed going to be a Overlord drop happening very soon. There it is, transporting for Overlord. Speed, of course, has been done. The vault, is he going to move out? This looks like we might go into a base raid scenario if it's going to be a drop for the Zerg, but it takes quite some time for those Overlords to be upgraded. Now finally the Hydralisk will engage here, but yeah, they're just forcing out some high templar storms. Very smartly done here by the Zerg, even bringing some Zerglings here forward. Good storms by the vault, but the Zerglings will be able to very likely take out a High Templar or two. Now the High Templar is pretty much exposed in the front, a little bit of a miss micro, perhaps just casting their storms. Now finally the real army from the vault is moving forward. Some Mutalisks are being sacrificed, Overlords also being sacrificed here. Very good engagement actually here for the vault, and now the reinforcements are just pulling forward here for the Zerg as the vault is nicely clumping up his units together. Not that much perhaps energy being left here for the High Templar. He's just waiting for the right moment to cast those storms, waiting for the Zerg to clump up his units together, and there it is, a very good storm getting casted. Both players do take quite some casualties here as ALEN has dropped below 100 of a supply. So yeah, in the end those High Templars once again proving to be a very good decision for the Protoss against the Zerg, as very soon we will close towards halftime. In the meantime, we do have a run by here by the vault with some zealots into these locations, and with that he is very likely going to be able to snipe this hatchery. So in comes the Zerg with his reinforcements. But yeah, the vault looking very good. I believe he has 2 weapons upgrade. No, it's just 2 armor now with 1 weapons upgrade. In the meantime, he tries of course to inflict more damage and tries of course to buy time for those zealots on the high ground to snap the hatchery. And with that we see a counter-attack here by the Zerg, but not that many units being used by him. So he's just pretty much patrolling the map. There we finally have the reaction by the Zerg, as he's very likely going to move straight towards the main from the vault. So a very good mind game here by the Zerg, sacrificing some Hydralisk, making the vault think that it's going to be an attack towards the expansion, but the real attack is going to happen here, I believe, straight either towards the economy or towards the production buildings. In comes the drop with the lurkers. I believe I saw some Zerg is there as well, so yeah, he's going straight towards the workers, and all of the army here from the vault pretty much exposed outside. He could also snipe the High Templar archive. So yeah, Dragoon after Dragoon is getting dropped, lurkers dealing more and more damage. Good storm now over here for the vault, but the lurkers are still pretty much being left alive, and actually reinforcements are pulling here forward. The vault tries to counter-attack, but he needs his main army into the main actually here, so he's taking quite some damage. We do go once again towards a base trade scenario. I believe the vault is just going to fend this off with those High Templars, but yeah, the reinforcements are pulling forward for the Zerg as the production building 1 gateway has been sniped. Another good storm here by him, tries to take out the lurker, and yeah, the vault losing important units and important gateways and buildings here for him, as there's the counter attack. Not that much being left alive here for the Zerg. Still, the vault should be able to move here forward. Perhaps he's going to be even able to snap the hatchery here, but of course the real damage is happening here towards this location as more and more reinforcements are pulling forward here. So it is indeed a base trade scenario. I believe more units have been dropped towards the main. The Archon tries his best, shields are very low, and yeah, the vault now being able to take out this expansion, but at the same time he's losing important production buildings. The pylon might get sniped, the Hydralisks are very far out, and some reinforcements might be brought here forward very soon by the Zerg, and at the same time he's also able to snipe the Dragoons there. So with that, it's still a balanced engagement here, perhaps a smaller advantage here for the Zerg. Worker wise, they're pretty much the same amount of workers, so DEWALT actually defending with only high templars. Interesting enough here for him. Of course, the economy can't be hurt, the production buildings have been sniped, some of them actually gateway and the Templar archive, a very important building to get sniped here. So yeah, with that the high Templar production will be delayed, as we do have another attack commencing here towards the upper left part from the map. And actually the Zerg with some good movement here forward, bring his reinforcements. Let's have a look at his upgrades, 2 weapons upgrades, very smart move by him, as he could be able to inflict even more damage. At the same time, another drop happening here, not that much energy being left alive here for the Zerg, so the Zerg pretty much attacking on all those fronts and now taking out an important expansion. Some probes will be snapped here as well, so a good presence by the Zerg onto the map. Lurkers are getting spawned, lots and lots of workers will fall. At the same time, some high risk are getting also taken out here, but yeah, DEWALT should of course be able to hold the attack, but he has lost actually a important expansion here, and sadly for him, with a bad rally point, those probes have also been taken out, so he has dropped to 38 workers. And what's even more important, he did lose the expansion right here. He had to defend on 2 fronts, towards his main production buildings and towards the expansion. In the end, the expansion has been abandoned, as the Zerg is just preparing drop after drop. I really like this tactic here by the Zerg. He could easily once again go for the gateway units, as DEWALT is now preparing an attack towards the expansion from the Zerg, but there's so many high risk on the ground, so many reinforcements pulling forward here. I believe the layer should have been done here. No, it's actually still a tier 2 upgrade, and now the high temp is pretty much exposed. Of course, the Zerg will immediately attack them. Somehow DEWALT with some great storms is being able to take this out. At the same time, the Protoss is now moving forward towards an expansion point from the Zerg. Lots and lots of action happening here. Zerg brings his reinforcements forward, but DEWALT now pretty much surrounded by all of the units here from the Zerg. So yeah, let's just see how the game is going to continue, as I believe the Zerg should be able to hold this attack by DEWALT right here. So lots of action, back and forward game here. More reinforcements actually now pulling forward here for DEWALT. He really wants to take out this expansion point, but we even have some lurkers here onto the ground. Observer is ready, and it looks like the Zerg might have to abandon this hatchery right here. So yeah, finally DEWALT with a great move, he has taken out the expansion. Some reinforcements are pulling forward. In the meantime, of course, another drop has happened here. Sadly here for DEWALT, he's losing the production building. He has to rebuild them in towards the newly established point. So the Zerg did lose the expansion, but at the same time another drop happened there and more units will be taken out. So if you ask me now, currently the Zerg in favor here of this game, having the advantage, killing buildings. So DEWALT has to rebuild them somewhere. There it is, going straight towards this location, and the Zerg also even has all of those bases now. DEWALT with some great counter attacks, those zealots will be able to take out another hatchery, as the Zerg is only mining actually from this location. In the meantime, the Protoss only mining from this one right here. So this is going to be again a very important expansion to attack. Interesting enough, the Zerg not opting to go for Dark Swarm, just sheer masses for him, as once again an attack happening here, but the high risk are ready to engage. Some minerals are still being left alive. This has of course been a very important expansion here for the Zerg, as both players are pretty much now rebuilding their economies. So yeah, who's going to be the victor of this interesting game? DEWALT still with a good and a high mineral count, so sadly for him only mining from one base, which is slowly but steadily depleting here his minerals. Still pretty much enough minerals being left here for the Zerg. But yeah, he is taking back his expansion as another attack is happening here. But there are High Templars ready to respond versus the attack. A very good micro here by the Zerg as he's moving left and right with his Hydralisk. But it's going to be very hard to attack versus those units and versus the cannons here onto the ground. So the Zerg also has to be careful. Both players with a very low supply here, even though we do have the 25th minute here onto this game. More and more units are getting spawned. We even have long distance mining here now happening for the Zerg. So the Zerg once again with a smart move. He's trying to block DEWALT. He's trying to force him to defend, and at the same time he's of course going to be able to take some expansions. Even patrolling the map. Very good harassment here by the Protoss by the Zerg. And sadly here for DEWALT, his minerals are running out. There are units, there are overlords all over the map scattered. And DEWALT, sadly for him, in a very bad situation. Long distance mining is happening here. Very soon the hatchery is going to be finished for ALEN. And yeah, DEWALT quite in a tricky situation as he's losing also some dragoons here. The lurker keeping the units from DEWALT at bay. Finally it will be taken out, but at what cost, as so many lurkers are still being nicely scattered in the back. So economic wise, DEWALT perhaps is saving for something. He really wants another expansion. Yeah, there it is, but the Overlord sees this, so some Hydralisk will be immediately getting sent out. At the same time, DEWALT reacting with lots and lots of High Templars, but is it going to be a little bit too late, as the expansion will of course be taken out immediately here for the Zerg. So yeah, difficult game here for DEWALT, as the Zerg is also taking this expansion right here. There is a Zealot doing a very good job here into the upper right part, defending that expansion point. And we even have a Dark Templar here for DEWALT. So DEWALT with a very smart gameplay here, sending out one unit with already 6 kills. The Zerg of course not reacting, he's not getting any message onto the minimap that his economy is pretty much getting obliterated here. No Overlord for him, and with that this one Dark Templar, hero Dark Templar here for DEWALT, 15 kills for him. It's going to be quite a surprise for the Zerg now, seeing all of those drones getting killed. He has the good map control, but at the same time he has to now, he did lose quite a lot of his economy with 15 workers. ALEN dropping to 21 workers actually here, and all of a sudden the advantage changes, if you ask me, towards DEWALT, who is expanding here into this location. The Zerg pretty much losing all of his workers there, has to rebuild them. Overlords are now being sent back, so it just shows how much of a difference one unit can make with sweet upgrades. Overlords are now here, DEWALT still showing his presence. As the game continues, of course, the probes will be transferred here. The Nexus is going to finish very soon for DEWALT. And yeah, like I told you, the pendulum is swinging now towards DEWALT's favor all of a sudden, as we will pass the 30-minute mark very soon. It's going to turn perhaps into a very defensive gameplay here now by the Zerg. Same can be said here for DEWALT. Long distance mining is happening. More High Templars are getting added. Some Scourges are getting added here. Interesting enough also for the Protoss, for the Zerg, as this one hero High Templar pretty much sniping all of those drones here, having a feast. As now finally one Overlord should be able to take care of that. We actually have 2 of them, but one with 16 kills already, 2 kills onto this one. There is an Overlord into the upper part, so I don't think he's going to engage here either. That, or yes, indeed he is going to sacrifice. Perhaps he's going to be able to snipe those Hydralisk, and with that having more and more of an advantage economic wise. So very hard game all of a sudden here for the Zerg, who is about to lose his expansion once again. But now finally in come the Hydralisk. With that the harassment should be fended off. There is no vision here for the Zerg, as the Dark Templars, the hero Dark Templars, do make it out here alive. 18 kills already for this one, 4 for this one. So quite a smart decision making here by DEWALT. Very game-changing decision here for him, going towards those Dark Templars, as he is very likely going to try to snipe the Overlords in the air. And let's see if he's going to be successful. Quite still a large amount of lurkers being able here for the Zerg. And yeah, the expansions also defended here quite well. The Zerg learning from his mistakes. Lots and lots of units are getting added by him, but he is getting forced to defend given the fact that the Dark Templars are all over the map, trying to inflict some damage. And with that, the expansion looks very safe here for DEWALT. His army is also looking very good. Lots and lots of High Templars. If he's going to be able to clump those Hydras together, those High Templars can be very deadly. He's even having vision now with his own observer. Sadly here for ALEN, he's not reacting. Now finally reaction with the Overlord, chasing those invisible units away. As the game continues here, yeah, still quite a balanced game. A very interesting game indeed we have, with perhaps a small change here for DEWALT, a smaller advantage for him. But then again, if you look at the defense from the Zerg, those spreaded lurkers onto the ground, it's going to be very hard for DEWALT here to engage. The gap is actually working against him. Finally, storms are being added to take out the lurkers, but there's so many storms, so many lurkers still being left alive here for the Zerg. Good storms are getting casted, but still more lurkers are being left alive. Now finally in come the Dragoons with the observer in the front. With that, he might be able to snap another important expansion point from the Zerg. At the same time, we do see a real reaction here for the Zerg, going now towards the expansion from DEWALT. So DEWALT with a smart move, moving forward, attacking the expansion, at the same time expanding on his own, as we even see a creep colony, so a sunken might be added very soon here by the Zerg. As now not that many units being left alive here for the Zerg. He has to bring in some reinforcements to fend this off. Good storm has been casted. The Zerglings will of course stand no chance versus the units here from DEWALT, as they're nicely on hold position. The High Templars with lots and lots of energy still being left for them. So the High Templars might be the winning unit here, of course, once again into the late game for the Protoss. Base is still pumping out here. Lurker are ready to defend versus an incoming DTs, and those two DTs, now finally one is getting sniped. The hero DT, however, with 24 kills is still being left alive here for DEWALT, as the High Templars are also moving here forward, just casting storm after storm, just trading energy for kills. A very smart move indeed here by the Protoss, as he's just casting storm and then going for Archons, and even a great storm towards all of the economy here. Some Zerglings are being added, but yeah, those storms quite deadly versus all of those Zerglings. Only a couple of Dragoons are being left now. There is energy here for the High Templars, but now in comes the Zerg, and another storm has to be casted here. Of course, second one has to be casted very soon. Good connections here for him. Yet another one is being casted. So yeah, in the end, the units from the Zerg will fall. And with that, I believe the paths might be cleared here for DEWALT. Of course, he doesn't really know how many lurkers are still being left alive. He decides to retreat, as the reinforcements would have been put here forward for the Zerg. So DEWALT regrouping, adding more units, playing patiently, playing smart. Zerglings seems to be the answer here for the Zerg. However, he's still not deciding. Finally, there is a tier 3 upgrade, and we even have a drop now happening versus the units from the Zerg. Those are very likely one High Templar or two High Templars have been added there to damage the economy from the Zerg. Scourges are the reaction here for him. DEWALT once again attacking and at the same time expanding. High Templars doing a very good job versus the opponent, as slowly but steadily we close towards the 40 million mark. Yet another great storm has been casted here by this High Templar with 8 kills. Dark Storm might have been a game changer here for the Zerg. There is the Defiler then, but still no Defilers for him yet. Perhaps some Guardians would have also be a very good idea for him. Are we perhaps going to be seeing those units? Still enough time being left, around 10 minutes onto this game. ALEN dropping to 21 workers There's 36 available here for DEWALT, as he's into a very good position now, defending the newly established base, having all of his main army towards the 12 o'clock here, as the game is indeed continuing. So DEWALT, of course, just patrolling this area right here, very likely waiting for those cannons to finish, and with that he might have the advantage with his shuttle gameplay, with the high Templar harassment. He might slowly but steadily come back into this game easily, as those Dark Templars with one kill onto this one. The shuttle might have very likely be sniped by the Scourge, but DEWALT still having a good defense here now towards his expansion. The cannons are about to get finished. With that, DEWALT might try to move out towards the expansion point that is just guarded by a couple of lurkers and some Zerg. So DEWALT might be successful here to move forward. He still has so many high Templars left alive. He can inflict quite some damage towards the expansion point right here. And this expansion is really important here for the Zerg. He really needs some reinforcements. He knows this. Finally, some Defilers are being sent out. There they are. Is this going to be the game changer for the Zerg? We're about to find out, as finally Dark Swarm is being casted and one Dark Templar is getting brought forward, with the Overlords already here to react. So very interesting and tense moment here, of course. This gap once again working against DEWALT. We do have a good storm getting added. Dark Swarm is the answer here for the Zerg. Those storms are very nicely casted. Perhaps once or two towards the economy would also be a good idea for DEWALT, as his expansion is also looking very good here for him. The Zerg with some small mistakes, some bad rally point, as DEWALT is still into this area right here. Slowly but steadily, pretty much all of the expansions will be mined out. The Zerg still having two good healthy expansions here, while DEWALT is also taking his other expansion. Perhaps this expansion will also be taken very soon for him, as he's gathering his units. So he might just try to stay into this location right here, just protect the two expansions right here. Those high Templars just trading mana for kills. Very smart gameplay here by the Russian player. So yeah, like I told you, this point would have been very important for him. He actually decides to play it even more safe and expanding towards the 11 o'clock position. Some lurkers might be lucky here, just seeing those probes move forward, as in comes the attack here by DEWALT. So the probes are getting sent out towards the 12 o'clock, but very soon they will be transferred towards the 11 o'clock, I believe. And some Zerglings are also getting sent out here for the Zerg player. "25 workers only available here for the Zerg." Perhaps he does have those two bases, but in the end, worker-wise, DEWALT even long distance mining here, so he knows now that he very likely has the advantage. But we do have a huge move out now here by the Zerg, and Dark Swarm is also being ready for him. So the first High Templars will cast their storm here against the Swarm that is moving out forward, of course, towards the newly established base here from the Protoss. Lots and lots of storms are getting added. Dark Swarm to counter that. But of course, I believe the High Templar is still dealing damage with the storm towards the Dark Swarm here from the opponent. And now the Zerg finally knows that it is indeed another expansion towards the upper left part. What exactly is his reaction going to be, as this space is only being left alive with this one here as well? Quite a bad situation actually here for the Zerg, as he's taking damage from those High Templars. So the High Templars just waiting for the energy to be refilled, and then lots and lots of more storms could be casted here onto the map. So very hard decision making here actually for both. DEWALT decides to play it safe, decides to defend, decides to wait for his High Templars to regenerate their energy, as one lurker is in range of those High Templars. But yeah, there we have it. Another storm after storm is being casted here. The Zerg nicely just moving a couple of units forward to force some storms now, even having the Dark Swarm here. At the same time, we do have a counter-attack once again with a couple of Zerg Zealots here, but they have good upgrades And with that, some units have to be brought back by the Zerg, and it's just a couple of, actually many Zerglings here for him. However, once again, we do have a Dark Templar, but there is vision this time for the Zerg, as some great storms also being casted here for the Protoss, just pretty much obliterating all of those Zerglings. Very smart move indeed. Some High Templars are still being left alive, so the economy will be very likely targeted very soon. The Zerg is reacting as he's spreading those units, as we did indeed pass the 14-minute mark. So quite a hard game here for both players, a very long game. Is DEWALT perhaps still in the advantage with those High Templars, the important defensive and offensive unit here for the Protoss into the late game. We have some observers still being left alive. One High Templar is very likely going to be soon able to cast a storm. This could be very good for DEWALT. He's moving his High Templar, he has vision, he's waiting very likely for 10 more mana to cast the storm versus the economy from the Zerg. Another storm is being casted. Let's have a look if he's going to be able to react there. He's still busy defending here versus the Dark Swarm, versus the lurkers, as the Nexus is also taking some damage now. Another storm has been casted. Dragoons do take some damage here, so cannons do finish in time. The Dark Swarm is doing great job here, pushing back the drones, pushing back the units here from DEWALT. Only the Dark Templar is able to cast that, but now we finally do see the Hero High Templar, who was able to kill 7 workers here. So very good move here by DEWALT, not forgetting about that Hero High Templar. But it's coming another highway here from Zerg units towards the newly established bases here from DEWALT. So DEWALT all of a sudden seems to be in quite a tricky situation. No Dark Swarm being available here for him, for the Zerg currently, as he's going now for the expansion towards the 12 o'clock. All of a sudden the Zerg might be still into this game, he might come back towards this game. The Dark Swarm proving to be once again a very good decision, of course, into the late game. There are some High Templars here being left alive, not that many cannons being left alive here. So it's going to be High Templar Storm versus Dark Swarm from the Zerg. It's still anyone's game, the Zerg could also take it. There we have another Storm getting casted, almost killing so many Scorpions, so many Defilers are being left alive here for the Zerg. So he still could take this game as another cannon or shield battery. No, it's a cannon getting produced here for DEWALT, but this ledge right here actually working towards the favor of the Protoss player. However, now Zerglings with upgrades, with Adrenaline, I believe he should have actually only 2 upgrades here for him. It looks like the Zerg is deciding to move here forward. No Dark Storm has been casted yet, so it's just sacrificing a couple of Zerglings here. Plague is being casted. A little bit of a delay attack here by him, being impatient, not waiting for the Defilers, going for more lurkers, so looks like he might have the advantage. There's one Dark Swarm, the second one is going to be added very soon. There it is. But yeah, DEWALT just holding his position. Now yeah, in come the lurkers. Good storm has been casted, one storm. He needs more storms, however he has to micro his units back. The Dark Templar is now dealing good amount of damage towards the lurkers. We even have zealots onto the ground, as the Zerg is just pretty much sending everything he has towards the opponent. The zealots can of course deal damage towards the units into the Dark Swarm, and it looks like DEWALT might have done it here. His units have taken out another expansion point. There's another expansion point here, pretty much getting forgotten here by the Zerg, and now we even have a Dark Archon also getting added here by DEWALT. So it looks like DEWALT might have done it here. The Zerglings will of course stand no chance without Defilers backing them up, and there is even a beautiful Dark Archon. Yes, indeed, it's a Dark Archon with 8 kills. So what a intense game we had here in the end. DEWALT with a very patient gameplay, and yeah, let's not forget the transition towards those 2 Dark Templars, even especially that one Dark Templar. I believe that was a winning move by him. And of course the High Templars into the late game, also a winning move here by a very late transition by the Zerg towards Defilers. If the Defilers would have been earlier added, perhaps the game would have been different. Maybe Ultralisk would have also been a good idea by the Zerg, maybe Guardians would have also been a good idea by him. But yeah, in the end, DEWALT with a very patient gameplay, always countering, always sending out some units, some small groups of zealots. And yeah, those Dark Templars, if you ask me, one Dark Templar with 25 kills. quite a winning decision. And let's not forget the High Templar micro here by DEWALT, quite outstanding, especially against the economy. Shuttle gameplay here for him as well. Very good game here by both players. In the end, DEWALT with a better nerfs versus ALEN being able to take this game. A very close game. It was still anyone's game. But yeah, in the end, DEWALT holding his position, saving that mana onto those High Templars, and yeah, just pretty much taking this game in the end. A very close game, a very long game, 44-minute mark. Nice game here by both players on September on the South Korean ladder. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's Tommy signing out.